Hey guys, if you're here, you're a subscriber to my Patreon, a little bit more laid back, just kind of hang out type vibes. And hopefully you saw the skull, kind of being built with shapes on YouTube. But now we're going to do something a little bit different. This is more of me experimenting. I've never used this brush set. And this brush set is from, I think his name's Mighty Short. It's called the Smooth Lines, and I will link it in below. They're kind of pricey, but the guy does he does a lot of really good work. So I wanted to give these kind of a test drive, and especially after I saw some of the stuff that he was creating with them. So I also think that this might be a way to save a lot of time, because the beauty of building shapes to create like the skull is it comes out really nice, and you have a ton of control over line width and kind of implementing the pen tool, but it's time consuming, and that's a big thing for me that I've noticed, is that creating vector art, yes, it does look good, but it is time consuming. And not to say that you have to rush through everything, because I've definitely learned lately that you shouldn't rush through everything. But if you can do something with a little bit more kind of speed and efficiency, there's no reason not to. So we're gonna play around with these. Again, I haven't used them, so I understand how to use these types of brushes. So it should be kind of fun. I can tell you straight up that I probably won't use anything from over here, just kind of looking at this stuff, but I don't know, we might. I definitely want to use this one. I can tell that this one's a little bit sharper, but I think I the thing is, we'll be able to kind of play with them pretty quickly. So when you're doing brush strokes in mind instead of creating shapes, with our sketch, we're not going to build two lines, we're going to build one. So you kind of want to do like a monoline. So again, if you haven't seen the YouTube video, I'll link below, or I'll put in the article, or whatever you want to call it, the description. The hotkeys you mainly want to know are P for pen, plus and minus, which is going to add or subtract anchor points, and then A and V. A is going to be your white mouse, V is going to be your black mouse. The white mouse is basically to get one anchor point, the black mouse is to get the whole shape. And you kind of, if you want to get out of your pen tool, you hit V and click outside of it. So it's just kind of an easy way. I mean, you can hit escape, but I guess you can't actually. So I have the pen tool. I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna hold shift. And again, for this, we're not building two shapes, we're just building the inside of this shape. And this is at 13.5. So I'm just gonna keep it there, because I think that's what these shapes are at, which is fine. And I can't link you these. I can link you them so you can buy them, but obviously they're not mine. So they're from Mighty Short. But with this, we're just going to kind of go along the inside. And one thing too, when you're building stuff like this, a lot of times you're going to want to put your anchor like right on top of another point. Make sure you drag it kind of outside of it. You can always use the white mouse to go back in and kind of move some stuff around. So if you need these 2 points on top of each other, just use the white mouse after you do the point and drag it on top. But I actually don't want these directly on top of each other right now. But as you can see, so I know that these points are gonna like come to it like kind of an end. So I'm making sure that all of those outside anchor points are, they kind of jut away from each other. They're not on top of each other. And so for this, I am putting a point right here because I don't want it smooth. I want it to have kind of a line. And, we're gonna build it up. Same technique on this, just kind of point, click, and then click the anchor again. And so I would imagine that on some of these, we'll have to go back in and reconfigure how long the lines are. But we'll see. So we got the eye. Again, we're just kind of, you want as few points as possible. So he's gonna look a little angry this time around. And again, I'm out of it. I hit V and I just click outside of it. That way I can kind of start fresh. So you get in a habit, especially for me, it's like, it's P, draw my stroke, click, drag, draw it. I hit A if I need to make any kind of adjustments, V to click out. And then I start back over. So I want to drag that out a little bit. And again, anytime you want like a curve in your line, you just click and drag. So then I hit V to kind of come out of it. So the nose. Doing this one a little bit different. I'm actually going to curve this line. Okay, so the teeth, I'm going to do a little bit different technique. And instead of drawing like all the teeth, I'm going to do some line work with it. So here you can see that I'm just doing like the bottom of the skull. And then, because I know that some of these lines are pointy, we can just we're just going to do this. If we need to add like a hook at the top, we can, but I've done a lot of skulls in this kind of style. And, as you can see, I'm taking a little bit of creative freedom. I'm just going to do these straight up, from where my original teeth are, which is fine. So this is too long, so I'm gonna hit A, bump it up. And when we flip this, we won't flip this line because it's already there. We don't need to. So actually, I'm gonna extend this one down. But these, I want to have like a little bit of an offset on the bottom, so I'm not gonna do. So, and to make sure this stuff is like in line with each other, you can select all of them and then you use this tool, the horizontal distribute center, and it'll adjust them so that they stay equal distant from each other. Put that up a little bit. And then I need to fill this shape. And I'm just gonna use that and then bend it. Okay, so now we have all the line work and we'll have to fill this stuff in. So yeah, let's kind of see. So this we want to have, okay, a little bit of a technical difficulty. So the previews of these they're not great. So just an honest thing, they're just a line. You can't tell which one's which, and you can't just eye drop these. So I've got everything selected. It looks pretty good at like 8, but you can see that actually let's go to 10. But I have a list of them now, so I kind of understand what they are, and I definitely want them thicker. So you can see that some of the lines look great, some of them look weird kind of in this setup. So we're just going to kind of play with some of these. That looks kind of cool. So I think this one we just need it. That works. So this we need a half. This we need a bold that can stay there. I might have to look up a little bit more on how he implements these, because a lot of the stuff I've used, you just basically kind of, it has a, you know, you can see it a little bit better, and you just kind of plug it in and go. So I'm just kind of going through these. And with this style too, you have to kind of play with your, that looks good, your line weight. Because what will work on some things won't work on other things. So I switched my view to like a list. So I have a cheat sheet somewhere. I just have to go find it. But we're just kind of playing around with these. Spike looks pretty good. We'll do that. We might have to do a line across it. These are way too big. But these need to be half spikes. Half spike, okay. And then I need to flip them if I can. So we'll thin these up a little bit. But I do like these. They're really nice. It's just kind of a user error on my part in the sense of I guess I should have figured out how to use them before I filmed this. I just assumed they'd be like all the other ones I've ever used. So these are all spikes. So let's do this half spike. I like the look of the half spike. So I wish it would just let me flip that, but it's not. I guess that works. So that's gonna be the spike. I would imagine that there is a solid way to illustrate with these rather than doing point and click, potentially. Or if you have it, yeah, you have to do it afterwards. I don't know. That's interesting. I'll see if I can find some videos that he's made with these. Spike, spike, spike. But I like the flow. So it's just a matter of, you know, kind of going in here, as you can see that I'm doing, and just updating these. No, spike. Kind of the line width and stuff like that. But as you can see, we don't have to, we're not having to draw in all these shapes. And it is giving us really nice shapes. So let's take all this. And I would imagine the easiest way is going to be to outline this stuff after we're done. So I would say my review on these, not that I'm doing a review on them, is they're very nice. It's a solid product. It's just a little confusing to navigate. So I'm just combining some of these shapes. And I think this might help out a little bit. So we got all that. And then, so this I can just fill with black. And then I want to do a shape inside of here. To kind of black out this stuff. And because we're using strokes, we can't just fill it in. But I can assure you, if you look at his stuff using these, you can definitely tell how he gets to his final product. So when you mirror things, if you do make any edits after the fact, just make sure you do it on both sides if you want them to stay mirrored. And then we're gonna fill this in. So you could outline this stuff and kind of cut it. But I want to keep the shape of everything. So this is more of kind of a behind the scenes, kind of showing how you could do this. You could use, you know, if you go into the stroke palette and go down to profile, you can use a lot of these. Or if you want to go download his set, you can obviously use that too. So let's combine these two shapes. If I can select them. Okay. Yeah, there we go. It's a little thin at the edges. So another thing you can do with stuff like this is you can kind of layer some stuff. So I'm using A, and I'm gonna hit Control V for that point, and as you can see, it'll bump another one of these on top of it. So select the point, Command V. That way you're layering your strokes, and if they have varying widths, you can, you know, it'll help in the long run. So I'm gonna move this over. Move this one over. So yeah. So let's take I'm gonna put this over here. I'll put it there. That's fine. So I have my skull from earlier, I think. Nope, I didn't save it. Great. So, so this is, you know, here we have the kind of using strokes to achieve the same thing. I really like this. I think this is super cool. I'll definitely keep this and utilize it for something. But yeah, so two kind of approaches that we covered today, showcasing using shapes and then doing a similar effect, kind of using, I'm gonna bump the width of this up, you know, utilizing just want to adjust that so that those points make sense. Utilizing a brush kind of palette. So I'm just making little tweaks while I'm talking to you guys, but hopefully this was useful. If there's anything that seems a little weird, actually, so a lot of times if you end up with something like this, you can just kind of draw in with your shape tool. And then we'll just mirror it. So I'm gonna do that real quick and then I'll wrap this up. I need to clean that up, but we're fine. So yeah, I mean, you know, don't ever feel like, you know, you can only do one way or one technique. You know, this is basically utilizing strokes to your advantage. So if if you're good at kind of building the outline of stuff, you know, more power to you. You know, use that to your advantage. If you find, sorry, I keep finding little things that I want to change. You know, if you like building the shapes, build the shapes. It's really, you know, there's ways people do it, but there's not necessarily a wrong way or a right way. I mean, there's an unsuccessful way, and then there's a way that, you know, aids you in your kind of goal. But I'm definitely going to play with these a lot more and definitely start utilizing them. A bit of a learning curve, as you witnessed, but they're definitely solid. You just have to kind of learn how to utilize them. And yeah, so I think even we can make the eyes a little bit smaller or something like that. But I really like how this one turned out, even compared to the other one. So hopefully you liked this video. If you have any questions, comment them below. I will reach out as soon as possible. Or if you're in Discord, hit that up. I can answer fairly quickly. Or email me or send me a message on here. Either way, I'll try to respond as quickly as possible. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being a patron, and I will see you next week.